an Indian who was forced to convert to Catholicism and ended up being granted visions of Our Lady. Through him, his people converted. Today's curiosities are about Our Lady of Guadalupe. Here are 10 facts about her. 10. Historical context. The historical context of the apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe is essentially linked to the Spanish conquest of Central America and the religious beliefs of the native peoples, particularly the inhabitants of Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire. The Spanish conquest, led by Hernán Cortés, began in 1519 and resulted in the fall of the Aztec Empire in 1521. The Spanish, with their superior military technology and strategic alliances with discontented local peoples, managed to subdue Tenochtitlan, one of the richest and most culturally advanced cities in the world at the time. Before the arrival of the Spaniards, the predominant religion among the Aztecs was polytheism, with a pantheon of gods that included Quetzalcoatl, the god of wisdom and wind, and Huitzilopochtli, the god of war and the sun. The Aztecs practiced complex rituals, including human sacrifices, as part of their religious beliefs. The arrival of the Spaniards brought with it Catholicism, the dominant religion of Spain at the time. The conquistadors sought to impose their faith on the native peoples, often in a restrictive manner, as part of their colonization and conversion efforts. This collision of religious cultures played a significant role in the context of the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The appearance of the Virgin Mary to Juan Diego, an Indian converted to Catholicism, was perceived as a divine sign by both the Spanish and the native peoples. For the Spanish, it represented a divine confirmation of their mission of conversion and colonization. For the natives, it was an opportunity to reconcile their ancestral religious beliefs with the new faith being imposed on them. Therefore, understanding the historical context of the Spanish conquest and the religious beliefs of the inhabitants of Tenochtitlan is crucial for comprehending the significance and importance of the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe in the history of Latin America. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe now so you won't miss any curiosities about the saints. 9. Evangelization of Central America. The evangelization of Central America after the arrival of the Spaniards played a crucial role in the spread of Christianity in the region. A central aspect of this process was the role attributed to the Virgin Mary in the conversion of indigenous peoples. The Spanish conquistadors considered the spread of the Christian faith as an essential part of their colonial enterprise. They saw religion as a tool to consolidate their control over the newly conquered lands and to justify their actions in the eyes of the Catholic Church and God. Thus, evangelization was a priority, and the figure of Mary played a prominent role in this effort. Marian devotion was already strong in Spain at that time, and the Spaniards brought this devotion with them to the New World. The Virgin Mary was seen as a symbol of purity, mercy, and divine motherhood, characteristics that could resonate with indigenous peoples who already had their own religious traditions centered on female deities. The apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe in 1531, in what is now Mexico, is a prominent example of this phenomenon. The story of how the Virgin Mary appeared to Juan Diego, a converted indigenous person, and left her image imprinted on his tilma, cloak, had a profound impact on the conversion of thousands of indigenous peoples to Catholicism. The image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, with her dark complexion and association with the local culture, became a powerful symbol of identity and faith for native peoples, helping to facilitate their acceptance of Christianity. Additionally, many of the characteristics attributed to the Virgin Mary, such as compassion, protection, and divine intercession, resonated with the experiences and beliefs of indigenous peoples. The idea of a divine maternal figure who could understand and relate to their sufferings and needs was comforting and attractive to many. In summary, the evangelization of Central America saw in the figure of the Virgin Mary a bridge between the religious beliefs of indigenous peoples and the Christianity brought by the Spaniards. Her devotion became a powerful tool for facilitating the conversion and assimilation of indigenous peoples into the new faith and social order imposed by the conquistadors. Leave your prayer requests here in the comments so that Our Lady of Guadalupe may intercede for them before her Son. 8. Description of the apparition. The apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe to Juan Diego is an event of great importance in the religious and cultural history of Latin America. According to the narrative, in December 1531, Juan Diego, a native indigenous convert to Christianity, was walking near Mount Tepeyac, near Mexico City, when he saw a heavenly vision of a radiant woman. This woman identified herself as the Virgin Mary and instructed Juan Diego to ask the local bishop, Fray Juan de Zumarraga, to build a church in her honor at the site of the apparition. Juan Diego, initially hesitant, obeyed the instructions and went to the bishop to convey the message. The bishop, however, asked for proof of the authenticity of the apparitions. In response, the Virgin Mary appeared again to Juan Diego in the same location and told him to climb to the top of the hill where roses were growing, even in the midst of winter. Juan Diego found Castilian roses, which were flowers unknown in the region and completely out of season. He gathered the flowers in his tilma, cloak, and brought them to the bishop as proof. When he opened the tilma before the bishop, the flowers fell, revealing a miraculous image imprinted on the fabric. This image is the famous representation of Our Lady of Guadalupe, with the Virgin Mary appearing as a woman with dark skin, dressed in indigenous clothing, a representation that deeply resonated with the local population. The detailed description of this apparition, with its precise instructions, the miraculous proof of the roses, and the image imprinted on the tilma, became a central part of the devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe and a fundamental story in the history of Christianity in Latin America. 7. The Virgin's Request. The Virgin Mary's request for the construction of the sacred shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe is a central episode in the history of the Guadalupe apparitions. During a series of apparitions, the Virgin instructed Juan Diego to ask the local bishop, Fray Juan de Zumarraga, to build a church in her honor at the site of the apparition. She explained that she desired to have a place where she could manifest her love, compassion, assistance, and defense to the inhabitants of the region and to all who invoked her in their needs. Juan Diego, initially hesitant due to his humble position and the bishop's skepticism, eventually obeyed the instructions of the Virgin Mary. He went to the bishop and conveyed the message, but the bishop requested proof of the authenticity of the apparitions. In response to the bishop's request, the Virgin Mary appeared again to Juan Diego and gave him a sign. Juan Diego followed the instructions, and upon opening his tilma, cloak, before the bishop, the flowers fell, revealing a miraculous image printed on the fabric, the famous image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The construction of the church at the site of the apparition was then initiated, according to the Virgin Mary's request. This church, known as the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, became one of the most important pilgrimage sites in the Catholic world, receiving millions of faithful every year. Thus, the Virgin Mary's request for the construction of the sacred shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe was fulfilled, and her sanctuary became a symbol of faith and devotion for many believers around the world. 6. The Miraculous Sign. The miraculous sign of the transformation of flowers into a sacred image on Juan Diego's tilma is one of the most striking and revered aspects of the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe. On the occasion of the third apparition, the Virgin Mary instructed Juan Diego to climb to the top of the hill and gather the flowers he found. Despite it being winter, Juan Diego found beautiful roses, which were non-native flowers to the region and out of season. Upon opening his tilma before the local bishop, the flowers fell to the ground, revealing a miraculous image printed on the fabric. This image, known as Our Lady of Guadalupe, is venerated as a divine sign of the presence and intercession of the Virgin Mary. The image on Juan Diego's tilma is considered miraculous for several reasons. First, the fabric of the tilma was rough and coarse, not suitable for painting detailed images. However, the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe on the tilma is remarkably detailed and well preserved, despite being over 500 years old. Additionally, modern scientific analyses have been unable to fully explain the origin of the materials or techniques used to create the image. Therefore, the miraculous sign of the transformation of flowers into a sacred image on Juan Diego's tilma is considered a testimony to divine intervention and is revered as one of the greatest Marian miracles in the history of Christianity. 5. The Bishop's Reaction. The bishop's reaction to the divine sign presented by Juan Diego, the miraculous image of Our Lady of Guadalupe on his tilma, was marked by a mixture of surprise, admiration, and reverence. When Juan Diego was brought before Bishop Juan de Zumarraga to present the flowers as proof of the Virgin Mary's apparitions, he opened his tilma to reveal the image of Our Lady miraculously imprinted on the rough fabric. The bishop's initial reaction was one of astonishment at the beauty and impressive details of the image, as well as the extraordinary story accompanying Juan Diego's account. The bishop, upon contemplating the image, realized he was before something supernatural and immediately recognized the importance and sacredness of the divine sign. His acceptance of the miraculous image of Our Lady of Guadalupe was accompanied by a profound reverence and admiration for the divine intervention before his eyes. The bishop's attitude toward the divine sign was crucial for the official recognition of the apparitions and for the subsequent spread of Marian devotion associated with Our Lady of Guadalupe. His acceptance and reverence for the miraculous image helped validate the people's faith and strengthen devotion to the Virgin Mary in the region, making it one of the primary centers of pilgrimage and Marian devotion in the world. 4. Miraculous Healing. The miraculous healing of Juan Diego's uncle is a significant aspect of the history of the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe and a powerful testimony to the spiritual impact of these events. According to tradition, Juan Diego's uncle was seriously ill when he encountered Our Lady of Guadalupe on Mount Tepeyac. Juan Diego, concerned about his uncle's health, asked the Virgin Mary to intercede for him. In response to this request, the Virgin Mary promised Juan Diego that his uncle would be healed. When Juan Diego returned home, he found his uncle completely cured of his illness. This rapid and complete recovery was interpreted as a miracle, a divine intervention granted in response to Juan Diego's own devotion and faith, and the intercession of the Virgin Mary. The miraculous healing of Juan Diego's uncle not only strengthened Juan Diego's faith but also served as a tangible sign of the divine power associated with the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe. This miraculous event significantly contributed to the spread of devotion to the Virgin Mary and to the acceptance of the apparitions as authentic by the religious community of the time. 3. The church construction. The construction of the church dedicated to Our Lady of Guadalupe is a fundamental milestone in the history of the apparitions and the religious devotion associated with this event. After the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe to Juan Diego, a specific request was made to Juan Diego to build a church at the site of the apparition, known as Mount Tepeyac. This request was considered a crucial element of the message conveyed by the Virgin Mary, symbolizing her desire to establish a sacred place for devotion and worship. Although there was initially some hesitation and disbelief on the part of the ecclesiastical authorities, eventually, the construction of the church was authorized. The sacred shrine was erected at the site of the apparition, thus fulfilling the wish expressed by the Virgin Mary to Juan Diego. The construction of the church not only represented the materialization of devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe but also became a center of pilgrimage and worship for believers from all over Mexico and beyond. Over the centuries, the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe has become one of the most sacred and visited sites in Latin America, attracting millions of pilgrims annually. The significance of the church construction goes beyond the architectural and geographical aspect. It symbolizes the continuity of divine presence in the lives and devotion of the faithful, thus perpetuating the message of love, hope, and faith transmitted by Our Lady of Guadalupe. 2. Continuous devotion. The continuous devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe represents a lasting legacy that endures through the centuries, exerting a profound and significant influence on the Catholic faith, especially in Latin America. Since the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe to Juan Diego in 1531, her image has become a powerful symbol of faith, hope, and protection for millions of believers worldwide. The history of the apparitions and subsequent events, such as the construction of the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, have helped solidify her position as a central figure in Catholic spirituality. Devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe is evidenced not only in massive pilgrimages to the Basilica but also in daily devotional practices such as novenas, prayers, and liturgical celebrations in her honor. Her image is often displayed in churches, homes, and even tattoos, as a tangible manifestation of believers' faith and devotion. Furthermore, Our Lady of Guadalupe is seen as a figure of unity and cultural identity for many Latin Americans, transcending geographical and cultural boundaries. Her image is frequently associated with miraculous events and divine intercessions, further strengthening her position as a powerful and compassionate intercessor. The legacy of Our Lady of Guadalupe continues to inspire generations of Catholics worldwide, offering spiritual comfort, hope, and protection in times of adversity. Her influence on the Catholic faith is undeniable, and her image remains a beacon of light and love for all those who seek her intercession and assistance in their lives. 1. Iconography. The traditional representation of Our Lady of Guadalupe is that of a woman with brown skin, dressed in a celestial blue mantle adorned with stars. She is often depicted with an aura of light around her figure, symbolizing her divine nature. The belt or sash around her waist, symbolizing her pregnancy, indicating her identification with the Virgin Mary pregnant with Jesus. In many representations, Our Lady of Guadalupe is depicted with hands clasped in prayer, symbolizing her intercession and mediation between believers and God. She is often crowned as the Queen of Heaven and Earth, indicating her position of honor and power among the faithful. In the original image, the Virgin Mary is portrayed with the moon under her feet, a symbol of her victory over the Aztec deities associated with the moon and fertility. The mantle of Our Lady of Guadalupe is adorned with stars, representing both the heavens and the divine blessings she bestows upon the faithful. And we come to the end of another video about holy curiosities. Don't forget to leave in the comments which saint's curiosity you would like to see here on the channel. And see you in the next video.